Hello and welcome to a new episode. Today is Monday, May the 1st. It's a bank holiday in the UK, so it's been a day off work, which is nice, especially with how hectic it's been of late. I'm only working 3 days this week, as I booked Friday off. I think I mentioned it previously for the second day of StampX. Virtual StampX, which starts on Thursday the 4th. So I'm hoping to be able to get some content from that. Now, I've actually asked the question, can I record? And I can, as long as it doesn't infringe on anybody's privacy, which is quite a common sense response. So it means that if I'm having a conversation with people, I would have to ask them permission to record and use their responses in my content. So I don't know how it's going to work when we're there. So I'm just going to have to play that by ear and work it out as the StampX progresses. So that's something I'm looking forward to later this week, and I'm off work all next week, which I'm really looking forward to. I've got some plans to really get stuck into my collection and tidy up lots of my stock books and go through all my spares and duplicates and just odds and ends that I've got lying around. I've got loads of stamps from countries that I don't collect, but they're all just unsorted in mixed bags, mixed glassines, mixed envelopes, mixed stock cards. So I'm hoping to go through all that next week and just get a nice tidy collection together. And a lot of those stamps I maybe just give away if people want them. You know, if it's countries that I'm never going to collect, then I'll look at some way of disseminating them amongst the audience. So anyway, without further ado, today I'm going to be showing you my Netherlands Stockbook. This is, I don't know if you can see the lettering there. Let me just tilt I don't really want to tilt the camera. Netherlands and then volume 1. So what I've done, using this particular catalogue, which is the one that Dennis van den Rieck sent me, along with a bumper collection of stamps. I've used this as the basis for the catalogue numbers. So this is the NVPH, or to give it its Dutch pronunciation, the NVPH, and that is the Netherlands Vereniging van Postzegel Handelen, which is in English the Dutch Association of Stamp Dealers. So that's their logo there, the NVPH. So I believe quite a lot of people use Mitchell catalogues, or Michel should I say, catalogues for Netherlands, but seeing as this was the one that I had at hand, this was the one I used, and it's still readily available. I believe it's available in an English translation. This is actually a Dutch translation, which has been, I really enjoyed it, to be honest. Just going through and translating some of the terminology, which I'll show you as we go along. There's a couple of examples I wish to point out, mainly because of the stamps themselves, not because of the translation. So to start with, we've got King Willem III, 1852 to 1890. Now the stamps don't run from that. I've just put that on as that is his reign. Let me just check. Oh no, I have put that right, 1852. Yeah, the first set of stamps, 1852. So he died in 1890, and you know, there's quite a few sets of definitives here, which I do like. And they've got these, I'm trying to remember what these cancellations are called. They do have a name. Dennis told me, because I'd called them like just domino dots, and I think it's pulse samples they're known as, and these were the go-to cancellation during the 1890s or 1880s, and even into the 1890s, looking at the next page. So yeah, I do like those. So move on to the next page. I've labelled these as Princess Wilhelmina, because that's all she was at this time. She wasn't the Queen. She was only 10 years old when her father died. So she was too young to actually rule, even though she'd ascended to the throne. Let me grab one of those. So yeah, as you can see, just a little girl. So the stamps were issued with her portrait, but it was her mother, Emma, King Willem III's widow, who ruled in her stead as Queen Regent up until 1898, when Wilhelmina turned 18. And she then went through her inauguration to become the Queen, you know, with all the rights, and took over the ruling completely. So I've laid this out. As you can see, I've done it in a very similar manner to how I do my UK and Machin's collections. I print the catalogue numbers out. Essentially, I put them all in a big spreadsheet on Excel, and I print them out and then cut them up and leave them as placeholders on the pages. So it is very handy to track individual stamps that you need. So I'm looking forward to going through these at some point. There are several gaps in this stock book. You know, despite having received some fantastic bundles of stamps from Dennis and from other viewers, including Daniel in Canada. But again, yeah, still incomplete sets. But, you know, nothing to worry about, because I can start fishing now for particular catalogue numbers now I've identified the ones I do have. And yeah, it's been a fun exercise. My next objective after this is to do the same with the German stamps and set up a stock book. I'm actually primed for that. Got a brand new stock book which was delivered today from Amazon. So that's for my Volume 1 Germany. So initially what I plan to do for the German stamps is to split down all those glassines that I've received from Daniel and put them onto some stock pages, some loose leaf stock pages that I've got in a binder, so I can move things around, so I can put the sets together and identify those in the catalogue that I've got. I've got the Stanley Gibbons Germany catalogue, and then what I can then do is to put them in some kind of chronological order and then start printing the catalogue numbers out and putting them in the new stockbook. So it's a lot of work, you know. It's very time consuming printing these out and putting them in the pages, because you're following the catalogue and trying to guess. And what you've got to be, I found you've got to be conservative with certain stamps when you look at them, because it doesn't give you the measurements in the catalogue that I've got. So you have to leave what you think is suitable space. So if I'm ever in any doubt, what I tend to do is do what I've done, like up here. And here I've left blank lines so that it gives me a bit of leeway. And even on some pages I'll leave just like a couple of 2 or 3 actual rows of strips that are empty, so I can move things backwards, forwards, or whatever. And again, as you can see, there are gaps. One thing I'd never noticed, even though I've had these particular stamps since I was a child, I had about 3 or 4 of these. I'd never actually noticed. In fact, I'm just going to bring the camera down a little bit. I'd never actually noticed that this was a flying dove at the top. And then whilst I was doing a bit of research on these, I saw it referred to as the flying dove, and it was like, oh yeah, of course. That's quite obvious when you look at it. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I just thought it was some stylized wings around the denomination. So yeah, I do like those. I think that's a very nice design of stamp. And there are several issues of those. This is another nice set. I think this is another set of Wilhelmina definitives. Again, some more gaps to fill on this, but I just think, you know, these are the kind of stamps that I really like. You know, early 20th century monarch's head, just elegant designs like this. You know, it reminds, like I said I think in the last time I went through these, or the first time I was reviewing the Netherlands stamps, they remind me of the British stamps in you know, in that fashion, like the George VII, Edward VIII, Queen Victoria, Edward VIII, Edward VII, Queen Victoria stamps. But yeah, really, I think just really nice designs, and just really straightforward. Not cluttered. And moving on, and still we get some more of these. We get some more of the flying dove, and some more of these definitives again in a different set. But again, just there's a word that's in use in, it's predominantly a northern word for describing something that's very pretty and very just really nice, and it's the word bonny, and I think that's a very bonny stamp. You know, it's just, see, I'm not only am I teaching you my knowledge of the Dutch language, I'm also teaching you northern slang, so you can blend in if you're ever over in the northwest of England. I'm going to dazzle you even further with some more of my Dutch speaking, or either dazzle you or make you cringe in a little while when we come to another set, which bizarrely I don't have any of the stamps for. So yeah, there's some more of those Wilhelmina definitives, and then we come to these here. Now these have a catalogue number that begins with R, and all the stamps in the catalogue show with a, I think that's the page marker for it. Yes. So that's R. These are the ones here that, this is the page I'm on here. And if you can see, if you look at the image on the stamp at the top, it's got this kind of two lots of perforations, and then a solid block in the middle where it hasn't been perforated, but the sides are completely perforated as normal. Now what that says there is twee-sidige roltanding. See, I told you I was going to dazzle you. Twee-sidige. Anyway, it means two-sided. I knew the word twee from Afrikaans, which is the word for two, and sidige is side. It was actually sight in Afrikaans, I think. But what that translates as is two-sided roller serration. So yeah, I'm guessing it was just some other methodology that was used to apply those perforations to the printed sheets. Now the problem I have found with these is, if you look at these, even in here, the catalogue prices at the bottom for the set are showing like €440 for the set. Now I know that catalogue price is never the market price. I think the middle column is, in fact I think column A is unmounted mint, column B is mounted mint, and then column C is postally used. So even postally used, you're looking at €105 catalogue value. But when I've been looking on eBay for any of these, you know, there are several different sets of these. There's another one, twee-sidige roltanding. They are expensive. You know, I was looking at a set of one of the particular sets. I think it was one of these, like the set of 18, and it was over £100 for the set of stamps. So I don't know if I'm going to get hold of any of these, or it's just going to be a case of pick them up when I can. There's also another variation on them, if you can see over here. Now this has got those different perf types on the sides as well as the top and the bottom. And knowing that twee was 2, do you think you could work out what 4 was? For vierzijdige roltanding, it's 4-sided. Again, that was the word vier for 4 is again something I knew from Afrikaans. But yeah, there's a couple of sets of those, and again there you can see the vierzijdige roltanding. I'm going to be speaking Dutch by the end of this video. But yeah, right, like I said, they are expensive, or they're rather more expensive than the standard perforated stamps. and there are quite several sets of these. I think the catalogues for these go up to like R200, so I have left space for them in the album, but again, you know, these may be like white elephants that never get filled. You know, we've got a page there that's almost a page and a half, which are all that type of stamp. So, but again, there's a lot of stamps here that aren't those R types, and I just don't have any of the stamps. Then we move on a little bit, and then I start populating the odd spot again. Again, some more Wilhelmina. And some more. We have seen these before when I had them in the stockbook, but just all kind of bunched together without any kind of ordering to them or labelling. Now these are occupation stamps from the Second World War. Wilhelmina fled to England in 1940 after the invasion of the Netherlands by the German army and their blitzkrieg manoeuvres. Now that's two of the same stamp in that on there. Then we've got these semi-postals here featuring three children, Irene, Marguerite and Beatrice, who are three children of Queen Juliana, herself the daughter of Wilhelmina. Beatrice was the eldest, and she obviously came to the throne in 1980 after Juliana abdicated. So what happens next is, yeah, we're still on Wilhelmina, so we've got 1898 to 1948. Yeah, that's what threw me, because I'd seen that her father had died in 1890, and it put a rule between 1890. But obviously those 8 years were during her childhood, and it's only in 1898 that she became an adult and took the throne completely. So we then move on to the Queen Juliana years, which is from 1948 to 1980. Now, upon returning to the Netherlands in 1948, after the Second World War, Wilhelmina was suffering from ill health, and she decided that she was going to abdicate and hand over rule of the country to her daughter, Juliana. So we now enter the Juliana years. Again, these front-facing definitives. Very nice. It's one country I've never been to, the Netherlands. I've been through it, I've stopped. I've had a layover at Schiphol airports in Amsterdam, but I've never actually been to the Netherlands, but it's something I want to do at some point. I think this is an absolutely beautiful set. This is a set that I've said previously reminds me of the Machins. Just the simplicity of it with the colour the Queen's head in profile, the denomination, and the only difference being that, not being Great Britain, the country name has to be displayed on the stamps. But this is as far as I have got, but as you can see, I've got through 640 catalogue numbers so far. So this is up to 1952, I think, now. Yeah, I'm only one missing from that set. I can't find that on eBay, which is the 95¢. So yeah, I've looked, even buying it as part of a set, I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm going to have to do a bit more digging on that. Maybe I'll look at Hip Stamp or somewhere else. Or if anybody's got a spare Netherlands 636 using the NVPH catalogue, the 95¢, if you'd either consider selling it to me or even donating it, that would be really great. I'd like to complete that set. So that is the end of the stock book. So like I say, it took a fair bit of time to put together, but I think it looks, especially on a page like that, I think it does pay off the time investment putting the catalogue numbers in there. And yeah, I've really enjoyed going through this nice little catalogue as well. It does have a lot of stuff in here, really, to say it's supposed to be the simplistic one. It's a bit like the Collect British Stamps, but it has first day covers, it has what do you call them, postage dues, telegram stamps, it has booklet panes, so I'm going to take a little break from the Netherlands now, because of that's been quite a hefty little project. And like I said, my next project is to make a start on the Germany stamps and get them in some sort of order. You know, I've even I bought myself a new notepad and some new pens because I was running out. I kept stealing all my notepads for work, and yeah, I've lost the notepad I had with all my stamp notes in it. So this is what I put in here, is things like any particular stamps I'm after, catalogue numbers, or sets that need completing, or plate numbers, and any prices that I've found, so I can keep a track of it. And then if I find it elsewhere for cheaper or whatever, that can be something I can pick up. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's little foray. Just one other thing before I go. Don't forget, it's the coronation of King Charles III. I called him, what did I call him? I called him King George, didn't I, in the last video? Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with me there. King Charles III, his coronation on Saturday. Now, I did receive some material from the Isle of Man. It was just a catalogue from Isle of Man Post, but this was the stamp that was on the envelope, and I thought, I'm going to keep that. This is part of a set. Now, the set itself I'm not particularly keen on, but this particular stamp I thought was really nice with the royal cipher, and I like that circular date stamp. Initially I was going to soak it off, but I'm not. I'm going to keep it with the, I do like that, long live the king. So yeah, long live the king. And just as a matter of interest, the current monarch, of the Netherlands, King Willem-Alexander, and will be attending the coronation of Charles III on Saturday, along with his wife, Queen Maxima. I'm going to put their picture up in the, I'll probably put their picture up in the corner up here. Quite a younger, dynamic pair of well, monarch and consort. You know, he had a military career before he became king, and yeah, they make quite the beautiful couple. He's the handsome, rugged type, and she's very, very beautiful. So yeah, I've been doing quite a bit of research on the royal family of the Netherlands. Just another facet of history that I didn't know, and always keen to learn more. The brain looked like a sponge. Sometimes it squeezes out things that I need to remember that I can't remember, but for the main part it does keep hold of some of the things I do need. It does retain quite a lot of rubbish as well, I will say. It's like, why do I remember song lyrics from some crap song from 1978 or whatever? But yeah, anyway, I digress. So if you've enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'm hovering around the 900 subscriber mark now, which I just find, I've given up trying to make any sense of it and rationalise any of it. I just can't believe that within 6 months I've got this many people watching and following and commenting and viewing, and I'm just very grateful and very, I don't know, I just feel very humbled. So anyway, I'm not going to keep waffling now. It's still bank holiday. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my evening. I've got some Indian food going to be delivered from my nice local takeaway. So I'm going to have some Indian food. I'm going to have a couple of Heineken lagers, and possibly watch the football that's on, the Premier League football that's on tonight. So anyway, will hopefully be containing some material from Stampex. Otherwise, it will be an insight into my new German collection. So take care, bye for now, and I'll see you in the next one.